about this, right? So, but you just get to hear about what's going on. I'm going to share this screen. Okay. And just going to check and see what else I can do as far as options. So I'm learning, still learning how to do this and do it well. So we're going to try to do it a little bit better. Okay. So make sure I had my chat back open, and I didn't have any emails about anything else. Okay, let's download these pictures. So I also get little tips from state health department about what you can do, and so this is kind of like help. My kids have so many questions. What do I do? You know, and then tell them, and then it kind of gives them some tips. So that's at least they're trying to get out the word and how to prevent the spread and how to inform people. They're extremely conservative. So I'm going to pull up. I'm going to didn't have it prepared ahead of time. Um, I'm just going to type Google Oklahoma Governor Stitt executive order. Okay, let's see. Office of the Governor. All right. All right, I'm going to pull this over onto this because we're still talking about Oklahoma. What's going on? All right. So they want to make sure that they're doing their part to slow the spread with our agents and with flexibility. They need to order to execute on their essential duties. All right. So these measures will help to ensure our law enforcement agencies have the necessary manpower so we continue to respond to this crisis while also limiting non-essential travel. All right. So we've got this executive order that's been sent out. It's kind of interesting. All counties, right? All right, it's hereby declared an emergency. Uh, Public's peace, health, and safety. The counties included. All counties. All right. The emergency operation plan has been activated. So a lot of this has to do with just the ability to redistribute funds in certain issues. Okay. Effective immediately, a moratorium is placed on all out-of-state travel for employees and officers or agencies that is paid for in whole. Okay, so all state employees can't go out. Oh, and then there's a P card policy limitation. So that's not necessarily uh, relevant to us. State agencies, all right, uh, in responding to this, can do that, so they don't have to worry about it so much. All right, and in addition, I direct as follows: transmit a clear delegation of authority for state agency directors and designate an emergency management liaison. All right, by this deadline. Establish and, if necessary, implement a remote work policy. Okay, that's good. Encourage Oklahomans interacting with agency services to utilize online options wherever possible. And it just so happened that a few days ago, they finally closed Vital Records. They were still allowing people into Vital Records in the city, which is, you deal with people face to face. It's just kind of, and there's a whole bunch of people that can go in. So anyway, it's just very delayed. Anyway, uh, all right. Oh, any medical professional who holds a license, certificate, or other permit issued by any other state can work within Oklahoma during this time. So that's pretty nice. Um, Continues on, and then they've got some that hold. This shall only apply to medical license and certificates issued the board. Okay, shall also collectively refer to as boards. All right. So talking about if you haven't passed the board yet. If you want to practice, you need to the responsibility of each board is to verify the license status. So they are putting the responsibility on the applicable medical center to approve these people. All right, so he's done some stuff. And a lot of it's kind of, quite a lot of, I don't want to say legalese, but man, there sure is a lot of stuff for it to be such an important time. All right, prescription. All right. Oh, now we're restricting this malaria uh, drug, so you can't get it. The prescription bears a written diagnosis from the prescriber consistent with evidence for its use. Wow. Okay. Wow. So now you can't. Now they're kind of limiting your rights as a human being to access medicine. That's kind of interesting. And you can't get a refill unless a new prescription is furnished. What if you have a issue for refills? Oh, and you can't get it for more than 14 days? Wow. So that's a pretty big restriction. That seems, I don't know if we think about human rights, I wonder if that's an issue. Oh, I see Carrie Ann joined on. Hey, you guys can unmute if you want to. What do you guys think about this executive order? So we're not allowed to get chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, which is that malaria drug. And you might have heard the president talking about it. Hey, he said it was a miracle drug. It's going to work for everyone. Well, and then there were some statements. Maybe it won't. But feel free if you don't want to, if you can't talk or if you can't find the unmute, or if you don't want to be on record because I am recording. Send it in the chat thing. What do you think about that? Is that something that is that a hindrance of human rights? Because wasn't that one of those things that we talked about? Actually, access to medicine is a right and promoting health. Interesting. All right. Okay, so it continues on. All right, then we've got some stuff. Oklahoma's medical providers in Oklahoma shall postpone all elective surgeries, minor medical procedures, and all non-emergency dental procedures until April 7th. That's why I haven't gotten my teeth cleaned. I've got till April 7th. Okay. Social gatherings of more than 10 people are prohibited. That seems still pretty high. Notice that it doesn't say anything about social gatherings of 10 people and social distancing. It doesn't say anything about that. Businesses within a critical infrastructure shall take all reasonable steps necessary to comply with this order. Okay, so as long as it's reasonable, you should do it. But it's not really if it's something that's going to affect you, you don't really have to do it. All right. All businesses not identified as being within a critical infrastructure sector, okay, as defined by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and located in a county experience community spread of COVID. So it's getting a little confusing already. Two things. You've got to be identified as critical infrastructure and not having any community spread of COVID-19, which, how do we know? Because we're not doing any testing, so we really don't know. Okay. I'm getting excited here. As identified by the OSDH on its website. So if you're not an essential business and there's community spread, then you should close. Additional sectors may be designated as critical by an executive order or memorandum. Okay, so he has the authority to say, oh, you actually are critical, even though I've said that everyone else says you're not. Okay, interesting. Nothing in this provision shall prevent restaurants and bars from providing pickup, curbside, and delivery. This shall be effective until April 16th. Okay. Visitors are prohibited from entering and visiting patients and residents of nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and retirement centers. Wow. And it continues to go on. Oh, any statutory or rule-based time requirements for completing training or becoming certified as a peace officer or for duly appointed or elected peace officers during this existence are hereby waived during the period of the emergency and for 30 days after the emergency is declared to be over. Okay. So any statutory or rule-based time requirements for completing training and becoming certified. Okay, so if you needed to be certified or had to complete training for whatever certification, you've got a delay in time. So that's good, right? Because all those places are closed. Hold on, but I thought this would be open. Oh, but the training facilities aren't necessarily essential. We're just trying to read it, as a normal person might. Any requirements that county reserve deputies, municipal reserve officers, or other duly appointed reserve peace officers in this state shall be CLEAT certified prior to serving in additional capacity. Okay, so you got to have CLEAT certification. Wow, they're just adding additional layers, and it's kind of interesting.
The sounds of the countryside, the lights.
Hello. Welcome. So we're getting some more folks on. That's fine. I really am glad you guys are able to join in. So currently we're going over the executive order that Governor Stitt gave us in Oklahoma. All right. Then we talk about direct assistance. Wow, all these. Can you get fuel? What's going on? The emergency declaration provides regulatory relief for commercial motor vehicle operations. Let me zoom in. Um, including transportation to meet immediate needs for medical supplies. All right. So transportation, yeah, you can go. You if you need to get in and out, you can do pretty much whatever you need to do. If you're providing health supplies, you can get in and out and do whatever you got to do. All right. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay. Nothing contained in this order shall be construed as an exemption from the controlled substance and alcohol use and testing requirements. Okay. So you can't. I think a lot of this has to do with our opioid epidemic that's still ongoing. Wow. Okay. So he got that. That's why it took so long for them to get this out because it's so many pages. How many pages is it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages. And they filed it on the 27th. So that was 4 days ago. That seems like it's a little slow. Personally, I don't want to be. I don't want to be too critical. I know, everyone has their opinion, but looking at this, that was filed on the 27th. Look at this. We'd already had 322 cases by that time, uh, and over 8 deaths. Finally, he's sent out his first. That just seems a little slow. Anyway, okay, that's what's happening in Oklahoma. I would expect to see the whole state overrun with COVID-19 soon. Our deaths will continue to rise, and our cases will continue to rise. Hopefully, our tests will continue to rise. That we can actually get some people tested. Because 1,700 people tested is not nearly enough to identify what's actually happening. Okay, so this is my personal recommendation to you as we skip to the next page. And I'm going to stop this video here, and then I'm going to start it again. Let me go to my record section.